Hello, I'm Owen McDonnell. Welcome to Share a Story. Now, today I'm going to be telling you the final part of the Untold Stories of a Water Dragon by Carmen Kardashian. Here we go. To take her mind off things, Nessie kept busy, ornamenting the cave once again in time for Christmas. All her aquatic friends loved the new touches she had made. The additions of aquatic grass and a few starfish washed by the storms into the loch, placed so ingeniously by Nessie, gave a more enhanced and fuller look to her Christmas tree branches. By day, when she wasn't busy adorning her cave or the tree, Nessie was training, swimming as fast as she could from her cave to the other end of the loch and back, under the supervision of her old and faithful friend, the lobster. As much as he had wanted to hibernate, Paul couldn't relax or sleep, so he spent as much time as he could instructing Nessie and timing her swimming. Above the water, frost finally engulfed the entire glen, and the loch had become a frozen desert. One night, late in December, while Paul and Nessie were busy talking about precautions and risk avoidance, they heard a frightful noise of crushing ice. While all her underwater friends went to hide under the rocks and in crevices, Nessie swam out of her cave to the surface of the loch to investigate. To her surprise, she saw 6 reindeer struggling to swim among the broken ice not far from her favourite rock. She also noticed a big red sledge strapped to the reindeer. No wonder the poor creatures were struggling, she was thinking to herself. Nearby, an old white-bearded man, dressed in a red tunic, was also trying to stay afloat. To add to his troubles, he was holding a brown sack tight to his chest. With one big sweep of her powerful tail, Nessie pushed the old man and his bag out of the water and onto her big rock. After that, Nessie turned her attention to rescuing the reindeer, which were almost drowning under the weight of the sledge. As she swam underneath the sledge, the water dragon lifted it up with her powerful back, making the load lighter for the reindeer, allowing them to also scramble onto the rock. "Oh, poor you! You must be cold and wet and frightened. How did you end up in the loch? Was somebody chasing you? Don't be afraid, you're safe now," she said, relieved.
"Oh, thank you for saving us. I am Father Christmas, as people call me, or Santa Claus, as children love to call me. Ho, 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 ho. I have travelled with my sledge and my 6 loyal reindeer over clouds and many lands, all the way from the North Pole. Every winter we come to this rock for a picnic break. I have my pick-me-up drink while my reindeer have their carrots. We have to refuel before carrying on," laughed Santa. "This time, though, the rock seems to have been much too slippery. And for the first time, the ice above the loch was too weak to sustain my sledge, my sack, and me. Now the carrots are at the bottom of the loch. So I have nothing to feed my reindeer, which means they'll have no energy to fly. What a disaster!" Santa laughed, with a twinkle in his eye.
"You are Santa. I have heard so many wonderful things about you from my friends at the farm. I am Nessie, a water dragon. Santa, you bring so much joy to everybody in the land on Christmas."
"A water dragon? Impressive. How many water dragons are there in this loch?" Santa asked.
"Oh, just me, Santa. It's a long story, and this is not the time to tell it. I am very happy to live here and spend my time with all my friends, from the loch and the land."
"Oh, I see. Well, Nessie, you are a brave water dragon. For saving us, I have a gift for you too. Make one wish. Any wish you want." Santa smiled.
Nessie couldn't believe it. Here she was, talking to Santa, who she had wanted to meet ever since Kieran had told her about this magical man. This was in itself a wish come true. "Oh, God, I have so many wishes in my head. I don't know which one to choose, answered Nessie, perplexed by the whole event.
Think of one while I am trying to look for some carrots for my reindeer, Santa continued.
In Nessie's head, a battle of hopes and dreams that she had wished for since she was a baby began. However, somehow, none of them mattered anymore, because she knew in her heart what she longed for. Santa, she whispered, I have a cousin, Alex, who lives in Transylvania. He's a fire dragon, but he has a broken wing and he can't fly anymore. A great tornado injured his wing many years ago. Please, would you be able to heal his wing so he can fly again? Was surprised by her answer, Santa looked at Nessie and said, I heard about this tornado, but are you sure this is your wish? This is a very unselfish wish. Well, look, I have many dreams, Santa, but this one is very important to me, as it would give Alex the chance to fly here and visit me someday, Nessie replied. I understand. Your wish will come true. Now, can you help me look for some carrots at the bottom of this loch, please, while I am having my pick-me-up drink? Santa chuckled. Nessie smiled and dived to the bottom of the loch, thinking what a strange night it had turned out to be. She could find only one carrot, but remembered the apples from Tipsy, which were now part of her Christmas decorations. She stripped them off her Christmas tree, took all of them in her mouth, and swam back to the surface to give them to Santa's reindeer. When she returned, Santa was already sitting in the sledge, and his brown sack was on the seat next to him. Mysteriously, his tunic appeared to be bone dry, and so was his sack, as if the water had never touched them. The sledge itself was a sparkling red with big gold stars all over it, and a shiny gold harness attached to the reindeer. Nessie's jaw dropped wide open, and the apples fell out of her mouth. She couldn't contain herself. She exclaimed in wonder, Golly, wow, Santa, what a stunning sledge! Oh, my gosh! And by magic, everything is dry. Look, I could only find one carrot, but I had saved these apples. I hope reindeer like apples as much as my friend Tipsy, the fruit bat, Nessie giggled. Well, thank you, Nessie. My reindeer like any fruit. While they finish the apples, I will place a spell on this loch so that it never freezes again, no matter how harsh the winter is. I don't want to go through this again. No more slippery rock and no more deceiving ice. Santa winked. That was another wish Nessie wanted so much to come true. With the reindeer fed, Santa was ready to fly off into the night. But before doing just that, he turned to Nessie and said, Tonight, you have helped me realize that for thousands of years I have brought presents only for children on the land. From now on, I will leave my wife, Mother Christmas, in charge of the wet world. She will be able to bring joy to children of all the waters of the world. Is there a Mother Christmas? Amazing! Nessie asked, very surprised. Well, I am sure my farm friends don't know that, she thought out loud. Nessie, you must come to visit the North Pole sometime. My wife would love to meet you. Ho, ho, ho! Santa added, disappearing into the night, his wicked laugh still echoing through the starless sky. Nessie stood by the rock, bemused, and watched the sky until she could see no trace of Santa or his reindeer. It all felt like a dream. Maybe she had fallen asleep. She dove into the loch, and the cold water made her realize it had been no dream. Her friend Paul was waiting, and she told him everything that had just happened. The lobster listened, but he felt maybe his wee Nessie had been training too hard and needed a rest. He didn't believe in Santa, and he had never seen him, nor had he ever had any presents from any white-bearded man with 6 flying reindeer. Or maybe Nessie had eaten all those apples, and they'd given her like hallucinations. There must be a logical explanation for all this, Paul thought. After all, the apples had disappeared. The world was quiet again, and all the water creatures were hidden in their crevices for the usual winter slumber. The loch looked a desolate place, devoid of life at first glimpse, until bang, whoosh, zing! Everyone was awakened once more by loud, continuous noises coming from above the loch. At first, they all thought it must be another kind of huge storm. Wide awake, Nessie went to investigate. What she saw left her flabbergasted. The sky was on fire, with cascades of sparkling light. She dived down to ask her friends to come up and watch. Now, they all trusted Nessie and followed her to the surface. Happy New Year, everybody! That's why the sky is full of lights. These must be the fireworks that Kieran told me about. Aren't they fantastic? I mean, my friends, it must be a new year. Wait. Look, the loch isn't frozen anymore, Nessie exclaimed, chuckling and dancing, full of joy. They are beautiful, Nessie. The winter must be a mild one because you're right. The loch isn't frozen anymore, said an astounded Paul. No, that can't be. Look, everywhere on the land there is lots of snow. Santa wasn't a dream, my dear friend. His spell came true, replied Nessie happily. Fascinated by the whole fireworks display, Nessie and her friends stayed and watched until the firecrackers had stopped and they couldn't hear any more music. She couldn't wait to tell all her farm friends that she had seen Santa and see the astonishment on their faces. She knew some of them had already seen him, but none knew about Mother Christmas. And with that image in her mind, Nessie went back to her decorated cave and fell into the most satisfying sleep. Her thirst for discoveries and also her plans for the most exhilarating voyage now included a new destination, the North Pole. The end. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Carmen Kardashian for generously donating her story to Roundabout. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Bye-bye.